soul to Christ, I want you to come and I want you to bring the soul you brought to Christ to the workshop. If there's 50 of us in here right now, how many would there be next year? It's not a trick question. 100. In 1 year there'd be 100, right? Now I want you to do this. Year 1, there's 100. Okay, next year we all win 100 souls to Christ. How many would be at the next year? Louder. 200. Okay. It's the easy math right now. Second year, right? The next year we get together and every single person wants someone to Christ. Where are we at the next year? 400. Okay, we're at year 3. Next year, every single person, they won 1 soul to Christ. Where are we at the next year? 800. Where are we? 800? Okay, I'm counting on you, alright? Make sure you give me the right numbers here. Okay. We're at 800 people on year 4. We're growing. The next year, where are we at? Good, you got an A in math class. Okay, so 5 years, we have 1,600 from 50 people. Praise the Lord, right? But God wants to do more powerful things. Next year, what are we at? 3,200. Next year, 7th year. 6,400. Okay, year number 8, where are we? Okay, year number 9, where are we? Okay, what is it? 25,000? What is it? 25,600. What is it? Year number 9? Okay, year number 10, where are we at? Okay, next year, where are we at? 11th year. What is it? Where are we at? Someone who... Okay, make sure you're doing this with your calculator. I want to show you something. So year number 11, where are we at again? 102,000? 400. Already? In year number 11, we're at 400,000. All we did was win 1 soul each of us a year. Okay, year number 12, where are we? 204, okay? Year number 13, where are we? 400,000. Year number 14, where are we? 819,000? Alright. Year 15, where are we? Okay, we're finally at 1 million people. Can you imagine, in 15 years, from 50 people, the small little room, we grow to 1.6 million. Do you think we can fit in this room? No. We can't. Do you think we can fit at PIC? No, absolutely not. They can only fit 4,000 or 5,000 at PIC, right? Where would we have to go? If we went to the biggest stadium in the Philippines, it still wouldn't fit. If we went to the biggest stadium in the world, the biggest stadium is in Brazil. That's for their soccer games. Rio de Janeiro, they have the biggest soccer stadium. I believe it fits 200,000 people. We have 1.6 million people in 15 years. Okay, next year, year number 16, where are we? 3 million. Year number 17, where are we? 6 million, okay. Year number 18, where are we? 13 million? Okay, now watch this. Watch how much it increases in the shorter amount of time. Year number 19, where are we at? 26 million? Year number 20, where are we? 52 million. Year number 21, where are we? 104 million? Is that right? In 21 years? Okay, what about year number 22? 209 million, okay. Year number 23? How many? 400? 419 million. Now year number 24, where are we? 830 something million. Okay, watch this. Year number 25, where are we? 1,600,000,000. In the 25th year, 25 years, we already have 1.5 billion Seventh-day Adventists from 50. Now watch this. 26. Where are we?
3.
3 billion. Year number 27. Where are we? 6 billion. Did you know that there's not even 7 billion people today? For good measures, let's just say one more year, where are we? It won't work now, right? We have reached every single person in the world. There's not even 7 billion people in the world. In 28 years, less than 28 years, we've reached the entire population. And what did we do? Did each one of you win 3,000 people to Christ in 1 year? No. How many people did you win? One person. Do you see the power of one? Now, that's 28 years. That's still a long time. Right now, do you know how many Seventh-day Adventists there are? 16 million. What if every Adventist in the church right now won one soul to Christ? How much faster would we speed the process? It'd be a lot, right? What I want to share with you today is, in order for us to get the gospel, you know, we talk about Adventists, about getting the gospel to every nation, kindred, tongue, and people. And people are like, how are we going to get the message to every nation, kindred, tongue, and people? It's real simple. Can you win one soul to Christ? If you can win one soul to Christ in 1 year, you can bring an end to this work. Real quickly, I'm going to talk a little bit about working with a conference in the local church. Ronald, I don't know if you can get the board for me. We're just going to ditch the computer. I'm going to talk a little bit about what you would need to do. Now, I want to show you this real quick. You guys are, let's see if I can. All right, this is your region right here. There are 16 million Seventh-day Adventists, and because there are 16 million Seventh-day Adventists, it's broken down into regions. It's broken down into what, everyone? Regions. Now, right now we have the General Conference, okay? Now, in the General Conference, thank you. Wow, Ronald, you're really talented at this. You should quit dental school and become a full-time computer guru. All right. The General Conference. Does anyone know the president of the General Conference? Ted Wilson. You guys are better than my friends in America, okay? They don't know who anyone is. Now, within the General Conference, do you know how many divisions there are? Does anyone know? There are not 8 divisions. Someone said it right? 13. Good. 13 divisions. And you belong to the division of South Asia Division, right? You're in the South Asia Pacific Division. And inside of your division, divisions are now made up of local conferences, or local unions, I should say. Now, in the Philippines, how many unions are there? 3, right? You have the Luzon, the North Philippine Union Mission, which is the Luzon area, Central Philippine Union Conference, which is obviously the Visayas. Then you have the South Philippine Union Conference, and that's Mindanao. So you have 3 unions, and inside of each union, what do you have? You have local conferences or missions, right? And then underneath that, you also have the church, okay? So I want you to understand that structure. Now I'm going to share with you how can you do evangelism and include your local conference in your division. What if you want to create your own youth conference? You want to go back to Mindanao and say, you know, I want to do a conference, or I want to do something with youth, and I want to get together. What would be your first step? Does anyone know what your first step would be? There are 3 things I want you to write down. You need a team, T-E-A-M. You need a what, everyone? Team. You need a dream, that's D-R-E-A-M, dream. And the last one is you need a theme. They all rhyme. You need a team, a dream, and a theme. The dream is your end goal. That's your end goal. Like, what do I want to do? What do I want to accomplish? What is my dream? My dream is to have a Philippine youth conference. That's what happened with Winter. Winter was at GYC. I want to see GYC in the Philippines. Okay? You need to have a dream. Then you need to have a theme. What is the theme? That is the actions or the strategy to get to your dream, to the end goal. My strategy is, I'm going to call this person and this person, I'm going to work with this, I'm going to do that. And then the last one is your team. Who are the people who are going to make it up? Okay? Alright. So if I can have you write down a couple of things. Ronald, again, so we're going to have dream, theme, and team. So we're going to have those three things and we're going to break it down. So you come from PYC and you're inspired, you want to do an evangelistic series, you want to get youth together. How do you do this? Okay? Break it down in three things. A dream, a theme, and a team. Alright, let's deal with dream first. Okay, dream. The first thing is you need to, number one, identify what is the end goal. So write that down. For dream, what is my end goal? I want to see 300 people in the local Mindanao area of Davao get together. That's my dream. Okay? Okay? So depending upon your dream, that will influence everything else. Does that make sense? If you say, I want to do an evangelistic series and I want to work with all the churches in the Zamboanga del Norte area or in the Mindoro area, that will affect everything else. You first need to identify what is it that you're trying to do. What is your end goal? Okay? Does that make sense? Now you need to have a plan. What is my end goal? You need to have what is my 1-year goal and what is my 3-year goal. You need to have what is your short-term goal and your long-term goal. What is my short-term goal and what is my long-term goal? A short-term goal are goals that are 1 year or less. What are short-term goals? 1 year or less. Then you have long-term goals. And those are defined as anything over 1 year to like 3 years. 1 to 3 years. Those are long-term goals. Longer. So you need to identify these things, okay? Sorry? Short-term is less than a year. Okay. The next thing is, what is my theme? What is the strategy to get this done? Now, if I want to do if my dream, let's just say for right now, my dream is I want to do a youth conference in the area of, I don't know, let's just say Davao, since I like that place, okay? Let's just say you want to do a youth conference in Davao sometime. So just put youth conference for dream. Still dream? Yeah. This is an example here. I want to do and inspire the young people, the youth in the city of Davao and the surrounding areas to get together and to have a conference and to have speakers and to get together and to pray. This is a goal that I'd like to have. It doesn't need to be a big youth conference like PYC, but I want it to be something where young people get together and get revived. Okay? So that's my dream, youth conference. It needs to be specific. You need to have, where is it? What is the location? So the location we're going to put is Davao, which is in the south, which is in Mindanao. You need to have a location, and you need to have duration. How long is it going to be for? Well, my dream is to have this youth conference for 4 days. So again, you need to have duration and location. What are the two? Duration and location. Okay. Now this is my dream. Now the first thing that you want to do, first thing, once you have this dream, once you've prayed about it and all these different things, is you want to tell you want to tell a local church pastor, elder, deacon, etc. about your plans. The reason why this is important is because it says in the Bible that in a multitude of counselors, there is safety. Okay? So you don't just go and by yourself and say, I want to do this, and I want to do a faith camp, or I want to do this thing, and I want to be by myself. The first thing you do is you tell your church pastor, elder, deacon, whoever it is, hey, this is my dream, help me accomplish it. So the next thing that you want to do is in the middle of dream and theme, you can just put a certain step, and that is accountability. This is basically, before you get to your theme, which is the way you're going to do it, you have accountability. And this is where you establish, in your accountability, you establish what's called an advisory committee. Put that down, advisory committee. If you do an evangelistic series, if you do a youth conference, whatever you do, you need to set up an advisory committee. Now it goes like this. Hi, my name is Michael, and I'm talking to a pastor. And I say, Elder Gonzalez, I want to start a youth conference. This is what I'd like. Will you be my advisor? Get a yes or no. Yes, I'll be your advisor. Good. Then you go up to another one. Pastor Orbe, I want to do a youth conference. Will you be my advisor? Yes or no? This is the next thing. This is the next process that you do. You then go from working with the local church, then you go to someone who is outside of the church leadership. So find someone who is a dentist, a doctor, maybe a teacher. And then you say, this, let's just say that someone is a nurse. Hey, Mrs. fill in the blank, Smith, I want to start a youth conference. Would you be my advisor? Would you be in my advisory committee? Yes. Then you go next to the local conference. You contact the local conference, and if you're right here in Manila, what is your local conference? Sorry? CLC? Central Luzon Conference. Okay, Central Luzon Conference. You go call them up, and you say, I want to talk to the youth director. You talk to the youth director. If you're going to do a evangelistic series, you call the ministerial director, okay? The youth director is anything involving youth. Ministerial director is anything involving like an evangelistic series. And you call that person up and you say, hey, my name is Michael, and I want to do a youth-inspired movement. Will you be my advisor? Yes. This is what you have done. When you go to get finances, when you go to the front of the church board and say, hey, my name is Michael, and I want to do a youth conference, and they say, who's your team? Well, right now you don't really have a team, but you have advisors. Oh, here's my team, Mrs. Smith, Mr. Gonzalez, Pastor Orbe. Really? Yeah, they're my advisors. You've asked them. Yes. Did they say yes? Yes. You have just covered your ground, and you've just formed a team. Do you see that? You start by asking people just to be your advisors, because now they are people who will advise you, not tell you what to do. If you start a board of director, then they tell you what to do. If you start an advisory committee, they advise you. Do you see the difference? Yes? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. The next thing is your theme. Once you have that, this is the strategy you'll do it. You'll say, okay, in 3 months from now, I'm going to make or contact speakers. So on theme, you put, all right, we need someone who's going to be a contact person. So on your strategy, go ahead and put form leadership team. Your first thing that you're trying to do. This is your strategy. The next thing is, I need to secure a location. So you're putting down your strategy. I need to figure out a location. And you have to figure out, okay, I need to figure out dates. When is this going to happen? Does this make sense? Now, what you want to do is just have a small theme yet, because now you're going to find your leadership team. Now you go to your leadership team, go to team now, and what happens is this. You go to your advisory committee and you say, I'm thinking of starting a youth conference. I want to know if you have any advice for me. Who would you think is able to help me in this process? And then they give advice. Well, I think this person, I think this person, I think this person. You pray about it and you form and you contact these people and you create your team. Now here's what your team is. Your team is dependent upon what your needs are. So for example, if you're starting a youth conference, you need a director. I'm going to put director or president. These are the most important ones. You need someone who's going to be in charge of finances. That's called your treasurer. These are the three most important positions. And then you need a secretary. The secretary is the one who's going to take the notes, the minutes. They're the ones who does everything. Those three positions right there is called the ADCOM. A-D-C-O-M-M. That's called the administrative committee. Those three are called the ADCOM. That right there is your most important team. Then on top of that, you're probably going to have more, and you'll have an ECOM called the executive committee. And part of the executive committee are those three plus more. Usually you have someone who's in charge of logistics. What do logistics do? They're the ones who figures out where is this youth conference going to be, how are you going to get everyone, how are you going to feed everyone, where's everyone going to stay? That's logistics. Then you have someone who's in charge of programming. What does programming do? They're the person who is in charge of all the programs. What are the workshops? What are the speakers going to be about? And then finally, you have marketing, or PR, whichever you want to call it, marketing or PR. And this person is in charge of telling everyone about the youth conference, or about the evangelistic series, or whatever you decide to do. Once you establish your team, you then split up all the things from the theme, and you give it to, and divide it into the team. Man, Ronald, you have really good handwriting. It's ridiculous. That's better than like typing it. Alright. Once you have this thing, all that done, then you make more things for your theme, and you divide the themes for your team. Does that make sense? Once you do this, that's when you say to the local conference, hey, we are, you think of a name for yourself, we are the Revelation 14 young people, whatever, right? We are the little Ellen White generation. You know, whatever you want to call yourself. You know, you want to make sure that you obviously don't think of something that's foolish. You want something that's going to be nice and catchy, you know? Like some people in the States, you have Maranatha, a group called Maranatha. You have Finish the Work. You have Make It Plain Ministries. You know, different people have different names, okay? Now, once you do that, you go to the local conference and you say, look, here's my team, here's my theme, here's my dream. How can we work together? Do you see how to do this now? What do you think would happen if I schedule a meeting with the conference? You know, they're real busy people. And I say, hey, I want to sit down with you and I want to tell you about what my dream is. And then and he says, okay, sure. And you say, I'm a real busy person. I have to go to all these churches. My next free appointment is 1 month from now. I said, okay, that's fine. And, you know, now it's time for our meeting. And I go and I sit down with you and I say, okay, I've been working on this for a really long time. And you say, okay, what do you have? Nothing. What do you think you're going to say? You're wasting my time. You're a joke. You're a young person who's not doing anything. Now, what would happen if I sat down with you and I had my leadership team, I had all my to-do lists, then I had my dream, and I sat down with you with these papers. I gave you, hey look, this is everything that we've done, this is the progress, these are the minutes, this is all that we've done, and I want your help. What would you think of me then? This is my advisory committee, this is all of these different things. What would your thoughts be towards my group? That you're real. That you're not just some little kids trying to do something cute, right? These guys are serious. They mean business. Does anyone have any questions about this process of working with the conference or the local church? Any questions? I want to make sure you know how to do this, because that's something that we often mess up on, is working with our church and the local conference. And the key is, when you work with the local conference, when you sit down with them, you need to have your advisory committee, and you need to have those three things: your team, dream, and theme. You do those things, they're going to take you serious. You schedule a meeting with the Texaco conference back at home, you have all those different things, they'll be like, wow, this guy's serious. That's what we need to have, a seriousness in doing things for God. As I close, I'm just going to close now. I want to end with this slideshow here. Make sure you get those notes down. Yeah, we'll just end right there and go back. I want to show you a couple of slides. Remember, we're looking at this idea of how to work with the conference, the local church. We gave you the blueprint, but when it comes down to it, we talked about also how soon would it be in order for us to finish the work, and we talked about the power of one. So we looked at the power of one, and we said year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. If we brought one person to God, each of us, and the next year we each brought one person to God, in 28 years we'd bring over 12 billion people to God. We'd all be Seventh-day Adventists. There'd be no need to evangelize the world. Now, we have a head start because there are 16 million people. Now again, for those of you who are not convinced that it is powerful just to win one soul to Christ, I want to end with this. I want to introduce you to a friend of mine. His name is Tyler Long. Does anyone know who Tyler Long is? He's an amazing facts evangelist. Yeah? Have you heard of him before? If you go to amazingfacts.org and you look at all the speakers, you have Doug Batchelor, Emmanuel Beck, Dave Stewart, you have all these different speakers. One of the speakers there is named, his name is Tyler Long. He's a friend of mine. And Tyler Long was not Adventist. And he went to a church one day, and this church decided to put a Net 98. And they had an evangelistic series with Dwight Nelson. And he sat through every one of them. He just stumbled into Adventist church. And at the very end of this, Net 98, they didn't even make a call for baptism. Not the Net 98, but the local church. They would turn it on, and they would all sit down. And when the pastor was about to give the appeal, the person would turn off the computer or turn off the downlink. Say, oh no, it's fine. And so after the Net 98, Tyler Long, being an atheist, someone who doesn't serve God, he went to the pastors and said, hey, I want to be baptized. He's like, you do? Yeah, I want to be baptized. Why? Could you believe this church? This guy wants to be baptized, and they're asking why. Like, well, why do you want to be baptized? Because I'm not baptized. Oh, you're not baptized. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Can you wait maybe a couple months from now or something? I mean, this is a church that obviously, a lot of churches in the States are like this. They don't have they don't do evangelism, don't believe in evangelism, and for them evangelism means nothing. And Tyler Long was one person who was one from an evangelistic series. Out of this evangelistic series that they did, he was only one person. One person was converted. One person was baptized. Now some people think, does it make a difference if you do all this money and all this effort for just one person? Well, now Tyler Long is an amazing facts evangelist. He does evangelistic series around the world, and he's brought hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people to God. Let me show you another person. Do you know who this is?